This is Kugan Cassius for iFLTV. Happy 1st of February, Sam Jones.
Yeah, it's going quick, isn't it? Already, like we're in February in 2025. Um, yeah, happy 2025 to you too, Cougar. It's our first interview for ages. We've not done an interview for ages, have we? Have we not?
No, we did one at Misfits.
Oh yeah, Sammy Hamid, yeah, but not a Zoom call. We've not done a Zoom interview for ages, have we?
No meetings. No,
No
no
meetings.
meetings.
We've not done one of them ones. But no, good start to the year, mate. Good, very, very good start to the year. Couldn't be happier.
It's been a mad start to the year. Obviously, traditionally, January's like quite quiet in terms of not news, but just boxing shows. But January's quite kind of filled in the end. So, look, I mean, let's start with a reflection over such a stunning win for Conor Walker.
Yeah,
And like he was obviously behind on the cards.
that's an understatement.
No, he was. And obviously, I'm not comparing it to this, but I remember years ago, you would have watched this fight when Carl Froch fought Jermaine Taylor and
Yeah.
was getting beat. He was. And then he pulled it out the bag in like
Carl
the.
Froch had won a round though. Carl Froch had won a round. Conor Walker, I'll be honest with you, I was trying to give him a round or two, but in reality, you watch the fight back, he was 10-0 down. He was. He was just 10-0 down on the scorecards. 10 and a half down. He was losing the 11th round, and then he listen, if you watch the drill that he was doing, it is to the absolute T that he was doing with his coach Richie Gent. He was practicing. That's why we was laughing about it yesterday. Like he landed a couple of shots in the fight, but like nothing to have any. He was chipping away at the body. He was trying to chip away at the body. But Harry Scarf is such an awkward fucker to fight. He really is. He's so awkward. Nobody wanted to fight Harry Scarf, Coogan. Like, honestly, this is me being honest. When Tom Dallas Ramin goes, look, we can get Harry Scarf. We can get him a British title fight. I'm like, oh, no, not Harry Scarf, mate. Not Harry Scarf. But then you kind of deep the situation and think, look where Conor Walker's come from. We can't be turning down British and Commonwealth title shots on a home show. Is it? We can't. And so the money, the first offer, I was like, nah, nah. So we managed to put our hands in Frank Smith's pockets, and I got Conor Walker by far his double highest career high payday, and he managed to pull off. It was one of the most stunning nights I've been a part of. Like just the thrill of because of what it meant for him. Do you know what I mean? And listen, I see Harry Scarf a lot. Listen, I've got time for Harry Scarf. He goes to David Lloyd Gym where I train every single day. I see him. I see him about. He's from my neck of the woods. But it weren't a postcode war. It was my guy against Harry Scarf, and I couldn't have been happier for Conor Walker because the contract that we negotiated for Conor Walker before the fight, if he was to win the fight, which we always believe that he can. It's going to be a hard night, but he can. Changes his life. It's a big money contract now for Conor Walker, and he deserves it.
Do you know what I really liked about Connor in the fight week build up? And I do when I say I mean this, and it doesn't apply to everyone, but the emphasis about winning a British title should be at the forefront of any fighter in this
One
country.
hundred percent.
And Connor addressed that in the press conference and said, like, this is basically like a world title, like to fight for a British title. And it's not being forgotten about, like the emphasis of a British title, but he made reference to what every aspiring fighter from this country should always look to the Lonsdale belt as the first bit of glory. Like obviously, you know,
100%. Look, listen, Joe Joyce, Lerone Richards, I was a part of like when he won, beat Lennox Clark, and Joyce beat Daniel Dubois. Like, but do you know the feeling? Because of it was taken away when Joe beat Daniel Dubois a little bit because of it was the feeling will never be replaced. But that feeling where it was like it's a style that's literally kryptonite to Conor Walker. If you type in a system, what's the style that's going to cause Conor Walker problems? It is. You. If you built a fight, it would be Harry Scarf.
mm,
Long, gangly, awkward, hard to hit, knows how to hold, clever. He's just a vile night's work, Harry Scarf. And Conor Walker pulled it out the bag. He
mm.
pulled it out the bag in a stunning way. And I was just so elated for Conor and his team and his misses. He had the worst week of his life building up to that fight. Honestly, any normal person would have pulled out that fight. I can't go into details of what it
Yeah,
actually was.
I know what you're referring to, and obviously I'm not going to make any kind of comment on that. But yeah, absolutely, I heard about this afterwards.
Kugan, would normal people have pulled
Horrendous,
out? And that's just one of the things. The
horrendous.
other thing was he had a huge gash in his mouth, open wound. He was really like in a. It couldn't have gone worse. The fight week for Conor Walker, building up to the fight, couldn't have gone worse. I'm not saying that would have changed the outcome of Harry Scarf outboxing him for 10 rounds, or let's say outboxing him, just outwitting him and knowing what to. But believe me, that would affect any person alive, what Conor Walker went through. So for him to pull that out the bag, he's a little legend, mate, and I love him to pieces, and I can't wait to make him loads of money.
I mean this in a nice way. Like this, another like reflection of how fighters are not wide upright because
Not wide upright.
they're not wide upright. It's not specific to Conor. It could relate to a lot of
When I
other.
rang Eddie, Eddie was obviously like conservative Conor, but like he's like, is he gonna? I was like, Eddie, that wasn't what I was ringing you for. Like Conor Walker, you would honestly had to have killed Conor Walker to not fight.
Yeah.
I asked him all the way through. I was like, because he told me, he goes, Sam, look, let's not speak about it again. I'm going to get through. But listen, all I'm saying is, my God, for him to have pulled that off in those circumstances, what a legend. Deserves every penny he gets and deserves. And may the big nights continue for Conor Walker. He's an inspiration to fighters. If you lose a couple of fights, because it's the first time I've got involved with a fighter coming off a loss and in that situation. But Conor had asked me to get involved with him for a while. And I thought, you know what? I see something. He's got a great fan base. He's got a great style. He's tough. He's got a good chin, and it's one of my proudest nights. It's one of my proudest nights for sure. So shout out Conor Walker, and long may the success continue.
What could be next for him?
And we've got a mandatory defense against Liam Taylor, so it will possibly be Liam Taylor. But the way the boxing world is at the moment, he might get a call up to say, like an Ishmael Davis, oh, go on, let's go and have a pop on Riyadh City. You don't know, do you? So the Liam Taylor fight is what's on the horizon, which is what I believe will be next. But is it definitely next? Who knows? Who knows?
I mean, is it something obviously which is difficult to do nowadays? Kind of win the title outright. Obviously, he's only just won it, but does he
Yeah,
want to do that?
look, yeah, it's possible, but like I want to make right. If I look at, I'm looking at Conor Walker's career. I want to make the Echo Esserman fight. Said it on camera the other day when Joe Pug did the interview. I was like, listen, brother, Echo. Everybody loves Echo Esserman. Everyone loves Conor Walker. The two brilliant lads. You couldn't meet better lads, right? Put them in a ring together. It's a bloodbath.
Yeah,
But it's just an absolute beauty for British boxing, that fight is, because it cannot be a shit fight the way they fight.
yeah.
So
Right.
if as I said before, Echo, if you're watching, let's do that fight, because they're the belts he lost against Harry Scarf. So he's welcome to have a crack at them.
We should see what happens. Right. Announced yesterday, obviously March 28th. Undercard has been announced.
Yes.
Uh,
You're gonna talk about Jordan Flynn against Cameron Vong again, right? Yeah.
I'm just look, the fight's obviously a little bit is it cursed?
First.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're hopeful, obviously, in 2 months' time, or less than 2 months' time, that this fight does happen.
It's gonna happen. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Look, it'll be if it gets called off this time, let's not talk about it ever again, because then when we really are, because we can't call the fight off 3, 2, 3, 4 times. It's not happening. But listen, credit to Jordan Flynn, credit to Cameron Vong, and listen to me, right? Do you know Cameron? Regardless of what you think of what happened in his last fight, I believe he won the fight. You saw my opinions of the Fisher David. I give my honest opinions. On the night, I thought, oof, we're gonna nick this. We're gonna nick it. And when I watched it back, I'm even more convinced he won the fight. Landed all the better shots. But regardless of that, the majority of people thought Gavin Gwen won. Not a problem, right? But I do think, in regards to, like similar to last night, when people just shout robbery, robbery, the close fights are not robberies. Regardless of what you think, Cameron Vong, in his sixth fight, or his seventh fight, I think it's his sixth fight, he boxed Gavin Gwynn. Like Gavin Gwynn is not an English level fighter, British level. He's boxed Europe. He's won the European title. Do you understand? He beat Sean McComb. Sean McComb possibly should have got a win over Barboza, who Jack's going to fight. That's the type of level we're talking for Gavin Gwynn. And Cameron Vong stepped up. So I saw Eddie's comments yesterday. I know I'm going into it, but I saw Eddie's comments saying, yeah, if we beat Jordan Flynn, because Jordan Flynn, by the way, whatever you think, he's undefeated. He's an undefeated kid coming to try and knock Cameron's head off. Cameron's Jeff Ofori, Gavin Gwynn, and Jordan Flynn in 7 fights. Are you mad? Tell me another prospect that's doing that. Are you mad? So when Eddie says, oh, yeah, it's got to be Gavin Gwynn, yeah, okay, no problem. We'll look at that after the fight, but pay him the fucking money and give him the respect. Because I want to see, because I see, listen, some prospects, like, they beat these people that they're meant to beat, right? That aren't coming to win. Oh, they're the best thing. But when a prospect has a tough fight against a fully grown man, because these are kids like your Janae Boston, who we'll talk about in a minute, and Cameron Vong, 21 and 22. These are kids, right? They're fighting these full-grown men. They've got to be given their props. They've got to be given their props, because you can't say when prospects are beating people without pulses, oh, this is unbelievable. When they have a tough night against someone so experienced, full set men, and oh, they've got to do. Listen, just I know what I'm trying to say, but the Gavin Gwen rematch will happen, but it'll happen on Jamie Moore's terms. It'll happen on Jamie Moore's terms. But yeah, he's just got to get well paid for it. But standing in his way is Jordan Flynn, someone I really respect. I get on really well with Jordan. And that's going to be a tough night for Cameron. It's a guy coming to... It's Jordan Flynn. You won't mind me saying it's like a world title night for Jordan Flynn, this is. He's not got a contract with anybody. It's a huge... Maybe not world title, but you know what I mean. It's a huge night for him. But it's a big night for Cameron as well, because Cameron's got to silence some doubters in his very young career. But shout out Cameron Vong. Sorry, Kugan. I went off subject there, but yeah, carry on.
So I'm back now. Fine.
Sorry.
Let's have a little reflection, obviously, on the Next Gen show last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously, George Lillard victorious. A split draw there for Junaid and Bilal.
Yeah.
What did you make of it?
Just before that, because we won't get to mention it, the standout performer of that night for me was Giorgio Visioli. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
because he looks stunning. He really does. Like the way he puts his shots together, he looks brilliant, Giorgio. Right. So for me, if you look at that card, who's the standout guy that I think can go on to really achieve something? But I'm not saying the others can't, because they can definitely. But if you're asking me to predict who would go on to the top level, Giorgio. So, but now we need to see Giorgio fighting somebody that maybe we know that's coming to really test him, because Giorgio's 50 levels above who he boxed yesterday. He looked brilliant. So that's Giorgio. But yeah, over to the last two cards. It was a brilliantly matched card. Even shout out Lele Buttigieg, because you see James Todd. I love James Todd. I want to see him on every single show. If James Todd's fit and well, I want to see that bastard on every single show, because he gives everybody... If you want to get to a certain level, he is the ultimate... And he won't mind me saying this, because I've got loads of respect for him. He's the ultimate gatekeeper. Because if you're no good, he's finding you out and he's beating you. He's beating you. So shout out to the 19-year-old Lele Buttigieg. I can't pronounce his name for love or money, but whatever his name is, shout out to him, because I thought he was brilliant, especially at 19. Going on to the last two, George Liddard, I thought he did really well. A tough fight of that Azazi, tough fight. I tell you what, Denzel Bentley must have rocket fuel in his shots to chill him the way he did, because George Liddard hit him with some peaches and he was brilliant. He was brilliant, Azazi. He was he was a really good opponent for Liddard. But as for Janae Boston, when I was watching the fight, I was thinking, when the fight ended, I thought to myself, I gave the fight to Bilal Fawaz, 6'4", Bilal Fawaz, right? But I watched it again this morning, because I knew we was doing an interview and I wanted to make it clear. But then I watched it, and then a couple of the swing rounds, you could have easily give to Junaid.
Yeah.
So if Junaid would have got the nod, trust me, it's not a robbery. It's not a robbery. So I saw these comments, robbery. No, it's fucking not a robbery. It's a close fight. It's a close fight. It's Junaid, right, was expected to do a demolition job. I expected him to. No, I'll be honest. I expected him to do a real job on him. But that Bilal Fawaz, that's his big moment. He's 36. He's fit as a butcher's dog. Bilal Fawaz, fit. Could have done 20 rounds in there. He made a few mistakes, by the way, because I thought he could have jumped on Junaid a couple of times. But Junaid showed resilience. He showed a granite chin. So you take the positives from that night from Junaid. Granite chin, showed balls. Just inexperience. Inexperience. That's what it was. That's why, as I said on the night, I scored it to Fawaz, but I watched it back, and a couple of the swing rounds that could have gone anywhere, you could easily score them to Junaid. So that's just my opinion of that. But it's just when people say, "Oh, but robbery," it's not fucking robbery. It's so annoying. I won't mention the fight that's an actual robbery to use as an example, because we don't mention that anymore. But that's a robbery where you just can't possibly score it to the other. Listen, but I know what I'm talking about. Don't worry, Kugan.
Okay. Well, look, we'll come on to obviously Catterall's fight coming up. My daughter would love that Paddington. Where'd you get it from?
The big Paddington. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
Fucking deer, I bet that. Paddington's deer.
Everything's dear. He's got Gruffalo. He's got all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it's But yes.
Okay. Right. In other news going on, you can just chop through these very quickly. I'll just chuck them at you.
Yeah.
Hearn's comments about Inoue. Do you agree with him or not?
I don't agree he should be taken out the pound for pound list, because that's just him being tongue in cheek. But his level of opposition's been poor. He's right. People can say, "Oh, he's licking Hearn's arse." Like, no, it's fact. Tell me who he's boxed. I don't even know the name of the last guy he boxed. It's a pound for pound fighter. Fight Nick Ball or fight Akhmedliov. Mate, it's not a case of, "Oh, Sam's on Hearn's side." No, I just want to watch. I just want to watch a pound for pound fight pound for pound fighters, or at least.
Do you think people go over the top about Inoue then?
No. Yeah, I do. Listen, Inoue's brilliant. He looks brilliant. His achievements are brilliant. But I want to see him. I want to see him box somebody where you think, "Oh, there's jeopardy in this fight." Stop smoking, Kugan. It's bad for your health.
I don't smoke. I quit last night.
Okay, fair enough.
Carry on.
Yeah, that's just my opinion of that. So yeah, I don't go as far as saying he should be taken out of the pound for pound rankings, but do I think he should be fighting much better opposition? Then yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a funny one with Inoue because I know Hearn's just waffling when he was
Yeah,
saying
he's doing what he can for his man. Yeah,
he never questioned the record. And actually, weirdly, I spoke to Nonito Donaire last night, yeah, and I asked him about these comments, and he said to me, bearing in mind, obviously, he's fought Inoue twice. He said to me that he kind of sees the argument about his resume being questioned.
Yeah,
Is a thing.
and Nonito Donaire is the nicest man you'll ever meet. But yeah, he's saying it. But it's just fact, isn't it? You want to see Inoue in proper fights. He's not in proper fights at the moment.
Right, moving on from now. Benn Eubank rehydration. Is it a thing or not?
I think it's a load of bollocks. I think that you can't listen. I've seen some of the management team of Eubank say it's not the same. It's not okay. Well, you should have just said no then. Because if it would have happened, imagine if they just said no, I'm not doing that. Do you think Conor Benn's turning down those 8-figure paydays because of a rehydration clause? It's just that Eubank's team outwitted the Eubank team. That's just simple as that. It's just to mess with him, really. And look, there's got to be an element of some fairness to it. Conor Benn is not a massive welterweight, and he's moving up to middleweight to fight Christopher Eubank Jr. Like, it's who is a big, strong middleweight, but the rehydration clause, right? Is it'll make that, and then he's got all day to make. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just to mess with him in the morning.
Do you know what, right? I know this is a little bit irrelevant, but in hindsight, if they were fighting for an IBF title, say at middleweight, right?
It's £12, yeah.
Was £10, isn't it?
12. I think it's 12.
I thought the The limit was £10.
I
No,
think it's 12. I think it's a £12 rehydration clause, but I think it was 10. But regardless of that, it's
I'm just saying, like, it's not.
yeah. But regardless of the
Fine.
fact they're both getting very very well paid, and Chris Eubank Jr. It's almost in his favour because it's at his weight. But
I haven't seen Eubank. I think Senior's done an interview. Someone told me this
not
morning.
watched it.
I've
I
not
can't
watched
comment.
it.
So I can't. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, actually, we'll probably just skip over that because I've not watched it. I've just heard some of the things kind of he was saying in
Not watched
relation
it.
to it. But yeah, I think if we both haven't watched it, then yeah. Um, AJ Wilder, in favour of it or not?
If it happens, we'll all watch it. Simple as that. So anybody that's complaining about it, no problem. Have your opinion, but we're all going to sit and watch it because it's two enormous punches. It's two huge names. Yeah, I'll watch it 100%.
um, what options are there for AJ? By the way, what do you think?
Can wait for the he can wait for the
Yeah,
Dubois Parker winner. He's already beaten Joe Parker. He's lost to Daniel Dubois. He can sit and wait for that, or he can do whatever he wants. AJ, biggest name in boxing, biggest name in British boxing.
it's a funny one, isn't it? Because I know like people were talking about Bakole, and I heard some comments from I don't know if you see it from Addy Oladipo.
Martin Bakole is odds-on favourite to win the Royal Rumble tonight.
What?
Yeah, Martin Bakole. But listen, he's the gift that keeps giving, like what he's doing to people. But the fact is, Martin Bakole is a big, scary bastard that's very, very good, and he's going to get his world title shot this year. Whether he fights AJ is another thing, but he will definitely fight for a world title this year.
Sorry. The point I was trying to make was I watched Addy Oladipo put a video out about Bakole, and he said he made an interesting comment. Like I've always looked at Bakole as a really I think Bacole's been the most avoided heavyweight of this kind of the last few years. I do. I think
He is, but at the same time, he had the opportunity to fight Michael Hunter and rectify it, and he didn't choose to fight him because Billy Nelson said, "Oh, he's not ranked." Yeah, but you can't call yourself avoided. What he's avoided by the top five guys. He was avoided then for sure, but the guys underneath him wanted to fight him. But listen, it is what it is. Good luck to Martin Bakole, genuinely.
um but again the point I was trying to make was Addy said like we've got to be careful not to overhype the Martin Bakole situation. Um I do think Martin Bakole gives the majority of all the top heavyweights a run for their money and
Sure.
could easily beat any one of them. I do agree
I
with
think he beats all of them. He has a chance of beating all of them except Usyk.
you. But
But
we'll
he
see.
has a chance of beating Usyk because he's just massive and horrible, isn't he, Bakole?
I think we're going to see Martin Bakole come into play. Obviously, he's fighting
Yeah.
a big bar. That will put him in line for the winner of Dubois and Parker. We're going to see kind of
How
if,
good he is.
yeah, how good he is.
We're going
Because
to see his biggest wins. Jared Anderson, who was a high level prospect.
Jared Anderson, again, this is another comment that Addy made. It made me think about it as well. I thought it was a mental fight for
Oh, it's the worst matchmaking in the history of boxing.
Anderson to take. Yeah.
It's the worst matchmaking in the history of boxing, putting Anderson in with
But we
Bakole.
knew that, like as Brits, yeah, we all like you would have looked at that. I looked at that and thought, that's a funny fight for Team Anderson to take. And
Yeah.
obviously we saw kind of the result of that. And we don't know like whether Anderson really kind of properly recovers from having a loss like that.
It was a systematic beating he took. So, but look, hopefully he got well paid. But yeah, the worst matchmaking ever was.
Okay, well listen, let's just finish off by talking about obviously a huge card coming up in Manchester on the 15th of February, which is 2 weeks today. We're getting there, aren't we, with Jack? This is a great fight with Barboza. I've got to
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
a great fight. I rate Barboza coming over here, obviously, and
He had no choice, really, Kugan. He had no choice.
but a lot don't,
No,
regardless.
no, listen, I think Barboza's good. I think he underperformed against Barboza, against Sean McComb.
Yeah.
Um, even though he got the win on the night, he's undefeated and he's coming here to protect his undefeated record. He's fighting for an interim world title. It's a massive fight. Jack's got to do the business, but we're certain he will. And then he'll either get upgraded to world champion or he'll fight the Teofimo Lopez.
An option there, generally, yeah.
Yeah,
Lopez.
of course. I speak to Keith Connolly all the time, so it's definitely an option.
Will Jack Catterall become world champion this year?
Yeah.
Just
Can you hear Ruby crying? She's
yeah.
like, she's crying her eyes out. Yeah.
Listen, we can wrap up now anyway. But yeah, obviously got a boxer card tonight. Azim, you expect Azim to probably stop Lipnitz.
Yes, absolutely. He's old guy in the Olympics, but I want to see Adam Azim against Dalton Smith, and I'm gonna have to go and sort the
We'll
child out
crack
before.
on, and then we'll catch up next week.
Yes, sir. See you in a bit, Kugan. Take care.